So before I start the preview in terms of looking at the first three games that is going to be happening tomorrow that kicks off the weekend's action of MLS Matchweek number 15, I just want to quickly give my commiseration toward Canada and certainly for the Canadian fans that were watching the Canada versus Mexico game that just finished a couple of minutes ago. And, despite the fact that Canada did fall right at the end and certainly Mexico did break the hearts of Canada by scoring a last second winner to move on into the Gold Cup final, they should have nothing to be ashamed of themselves. And in many ways, this game really kind of puts Canada on the map of CONCACAF, and that when you look at this game, despite the fact that they were really short-handed, and really I would say that this was kind of like a B or even a C team for the Canadian national team, they really gave Mexico all they can handle. And as I said, it was kind of unfortunate that they gave up that goal in the 97th minute and really was the dagger for them. But I think this is a Canadian team that, once they do get to the World Cup qualifier, I'm going to say that they're really my dark horse team, and that I think when Canada does go into the World Cup qualifying, they shouldn't be taken in lightly, because this is a team that, as I said, in that game that just finished a couple minutes ago, that was still not the strongest Canadian team. Once they do get some of those the Canadian player that is currently playing in Europe, guys like Alphonso Davies and Kyle Larin and even Jonathan David in this Canadian squad, this Canadian team is going to be a very dangerous team, and it's going to be a very big headache in terms of these powerhouse in the CONCACAF region that is the U.S. and Mexico, and even maybe some of these teams that are kind of like in the bubble in terms of potentially getting it to the World Cup. Teams like Costa Rica and Honduras that are kind of display kind of like teams that is just a step below where the U.S. and Mexico is. They could maybe feel the heat, and that those games are going to mean a lot to them. Now, that being said, it is still also going to be big when Mexico and the U.S. play against Canada, and something tells me that maybe the difference between both of those teams. Well, actually, I won't go that far, because we'll see how the World Cup qualifier that will go on. But as we know now, that the CONCACAF Gold Cup final will indeed going to be Mexico versus the U.S., which I'm pretty sure CONCACAF knew that this was going to happen. And I know there's going to be some fans and some neutral will be frustrated the fact that it is U.S. versus Mexico again. But at the end of the day, what did you expect? Like, you knew CONCACAF, knowing the fact that this game is going to be in Vegas and this game is going to be at Allegiant Stadium, you knew that they were going to try every way to make sure the U.S. and Mexico will play in this final, because that's where all the money is going to be coming from. And they already said that game has already been sold out, and it's actually been sold out for a very long time right now. I think it kind of sold out literally 90 minutes after the game went on public sale, and there's going to be around 60,000 people that is going to be watching that game. Now, that being said, after my little spew in terms of talk about the Canada versus Mexico game, let us actually get into the thing that we're going to talk about in this preview, which is looking at the three games that's going to be happening on Friday, which will kick off the 13-game action that's going to be happening this week. So we start off with NYCFC taking on the Columbus Crew, as this game will start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff will not start until 7:38 p.m. local time. NYCFC, of course, won 5-0 against Orlando City at home in their last game, while Columbus also won their game last time, as they were able to pick up a 1-0 road win against Atlanta United, and only their second road win that they have got in their last 20 games. And coincidentally, the last time they were able to win on the road before they were able to beat Atlanta United last week on the road was also against Atlanta United on the road a couple of years ago. Now, in terms of the top goal scorer for both of these teams, for NYCFC, you got Jesus Medina leading the team with 7 goals, followed by Ishmael Tajuri-Shradi with 6 goals. Then you got Tati Castellanos with 5 goals, Thiago Andrade and Keaton Parks with 2 goals to round out the top 5. For Columbus, unsurprisingly, Lucas Zarian and Jerzy Zardes are your leading top 2 goal scorers for Columbus. Zarian, of course, leads the team with 5 goals, while Zardes have 4 goals. Then you have a bunch of players that currently have 1 goal. So some of the more notable names, well, probably one name that you probably not noted is Miguel Berry, but he did score score a big goal a couple of weeks ago for Columbus, and that's why I kind of decided to put him in the top 5 in here in the top goal scored kind of chart. But then you got Luis Diaz with 1 goal, and then of course Jonathan Mensah, who of course scored the only goal in that game against Atlanta United, and the winner against Atlanta United is also on the top 5 goals scoring chart here. But yeah, this is a game that, again, I can't really predict how this is. I can't really predict how this is going to go because for NYCFC, yes, they did win 5-0 against Orlando City, and it was no doubt one of their best performances this season. But the question is, can they keep it up? Because so far this season, we've seen before where NYCFC can look great at 1 week, and then the very next week they completely falter. And for Columbus, they have definitely got themselves back above the red line, and I believe they're currently 4th place or 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. I mean, the Eastern Conference right now is so jam-packed between 2nd through 8th place that, if you lose some games, you can definitely get yourself outside of the playoff standing. But if you are able to get a couple of wins in a row, then you can easily climb yourself up the standing, even though you've been near the lower half of the table. And that's kind of what Columbus has been, as they have got a couple of wins in a row, and let's see whether or not if they can continue in this game against NYCFC. Now, moving on, in terms of the next match, is none other than the latest installation between Orlando City versus Atlanta United. Now, this latest installation is kind of a game between two teams that have definitely struggled in their recent form. For Orlando City, despite the fact that there's no doubt that if you ask people so far for this season who has been having the better season, it's no doubt going to be Orlando City compared to Atlanta United, who currently has a record of 2-8-5, and they have been winless ever since May, and have now extended their record in terms of the franchise history of going 10 games without a win, which is definitely not a record that Atlanta United was hoping to set when they came into the lead a couple of years ago. Now, for Orlando City, as I mentioned, their form hasn't been anything proud to be spectacular to say, because after that incredible week where, remember how they had that incredible week where they were able to beat the San Jose Earthquakes by 5-0, and then a couple of days later fall by a 2-1 win against Inter Miami? Yeah, ever since that incredible week, they have only won 1 game out of their last 5 games, and it's just been a miserable July for Orlando City. Now, for the top goal scorer for both of these teams, unsurprisingly for Orlando City, it's Nani as the top goal scorer with 7 goals, followed by Tesha Akindele and Benji Michel with 3 goals. Then you got Junior Urso and Daryl DK rounds up the top 5 with 2 goals. For Orlando United, Marcelino Moreno currently is the top goal scorer of this team, but he only has 3 goals. I mean, that basically tells you the story of how much Orlando United is really struggling this season in terms of scoring goals. And Joseph Martinez still stuck at the two goal mark, alongside with Anton Walks with 2 goals. Then you got Ezekiel Barco, Jackson Conway, and a whole bunch of Atlanta United players that currently have 1 goal with their team. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting game, and in some way I think this is also a desperation game. I think if I want to say that this is kind of a desperation game, I would say the desperation is more for Orlando United than it is for Orlando City, because right now, yes, Orlando City have been in a relatively rough patch, but there's no doubt that they can of course have the quality to pick themselves up. That cannot be said the same with Atlanta United. Now, I know they have been linked with a big money move, and I talked about in the news of the week episode, I think it was Thiago Almondra that is the guy that they're planning to bring in the summer transfer window, and there's even rumors said that if that signing is all but done. But until if he arrived to this team, and once he does arrive to this team, and if he can make some instant impact, this Atlanta team is not going anywhere in terms of getting themselves get back to the form that they had in the beginning of the season. Because as bad as Atlanta United is this season, people forgot that this team actually got off to a good start, and we thought maybe this is the Atlanta United that we were kind of expected, where they have a comeback kind of season, and then it just kind of fall off a cliff ever since June and July basically hits, and it's no wonder that they have now gone that many games without a wins. But let's see if they can end their winless run in this game, and this would be a great way for them to end a winless run. And there's also times where people talk about how, when you have a tough season, if you can get a win, and especially and a long winless run against your biggest rival, then it can really spark some life in that locker room, and can definitely spark something for the team. And that's also kind of the reason why Atlanta, this game is very important for them, because if they can beat Orlando City in this game, not only they can once again say that they still have the superiority in this rivalry, but that can really maybe change the trajectory of this team. That, again, it's been just a miserable season that Atlanta has been gone through this year. Now, moving on into the last game on this board is the Galaxy taking on the Portland Timbers. And, oh, by the way, this game, of course, is going to be taking place on ESPN, and it will start at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff time will not start until 8:10 p.m. But that's the first game of the doubleheader on Friday on ESPN, because the second game of the doubleheader is the LA Galaxy taking on the Portland Timbers. The Galaxy, they currently have a record of 8-1-6, while the Timbers have a record of 6-1-7. The game will start at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff will not start until 7:18 p.m. local time. The Galaxy, well, it has been a struggle ever since they were able to beat the Quakes in the Cali Clasico in June, turned that calendar into July, and they have only won 1 out of their last 5 games. While for the Timbers, they certainly were love to bounce back after that rough loss that they had against Minnesota, where they were up 1-0 for the majority of the game, and then they throw away the game and kind of did something that the Timbers did a lot last season, which is gave up late goals and basically lose 2-1 on the road. Now, for the top goal scorer for both of these teams, unsurprisingly for the Galaxy, it's Chicharito, who I believe is still leading the league in terms of the top goal scoring chart with 10 goals this season. Then you got this kid called Ryan Revelson, and he has been a guy that I think a couple of months ago you probably have not heard of this guy, but he kind of just came out of nowhere for the Galaxy, and kind of was playing in the spot that almost in the spot that Chicharito they occupied, and he actually has provided a spark to this team and have been a relatively big surprise with 3 goals to his name. But then we got Sasha Kleshin with 2 goals, and then we have a bunch of guys with 1 goal. First with Efrain Alvarez, and then Kevin Cabral, and a lot of guys on this Galaxy team that currently have 1 goal for this LA Galaxy team. Now, for the Portland Timbers, you got Felipe Mora currently with 4 goals, followed by Darren Asprilla. Yes, Darren Asprilla is actually one of the top goal scorer for the Portland Timbers side. And no, we are not in October or even in November. It's been a crazy world that Darren Asprilla is actually one of the top goal scorer for the Portland Timbers. But all kidding aside, it's great to see that Asprilla is having a great season so far this year. I mean, I would say that yes, 3 goals so far this season after 14 games might not sound impressive, but consider all of how he has had some rough year with the Timbers, and a guy that I always mention that meme that it seems like it's kind of died now with him scoring goals. Besides when it's playoff time, it's been a great season that he's been having with the Timbers. Now, followed by that, you got Jeremy Bosi with 3 goals, and then you got Marvin Larea and Diego Valeri with 2 goals apiece for the Portland Timbers. But yeah, coming into this game, obviously, there's still no update of whether or not if Chicharito is going to be available. I mean, it's been a while since he has been backed for this team, and when he suffered that injury against Sporting KC, which was during the warm-up, I thought it was just kind of a knock that might keep him out like 1 or 2 games. I did not expect the fact that he's now been out for a while now, and there's no doubt the Galaxy desperately miss Chicharito, because ever since Chicharito is not in the starting 11 for this team have just kind of gone through a downward spiral. But as I said before, a lot of the struggle for the Galaxy isn't just because of Chicharito, but it's also because of the defense have really gone back to the bad defensive form that they have been for the past couple of years. And yeah, it doesn't help the fact that they're about to face the Timbers side that is definitely hungry to try to score goals in this game. And yeah, if they don't kind of stop that defensive mishap that they've been having these last couple of games, this turns out to be ugly, and that this might be another loss for the Galaxy coming into this game against the Portland Timbers. But that being said, that is pretty much it for the preview of all three of these games. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of all three of these games that is going to be happening tomorrow. Later tonight, I will do the preview in terms of the Saturday action, which there's going to be 8 games that's going to be taking place on Saturday, but that video probably will not be uploaded tonight because, you know, by the time I upload this video, it'll be probably around 11 o'clock, and, you know, once I do have to upload the other video where I look at the first 8 games, or not the first 8 games, but the 8 games that's going to be happening on Saturday, it will be just such a late upload that there's just no way that I think that's a good decision to try to upload that video and basically release it like at 1 in the morning. So that's going to be another video where I kind of call it a pre-recording, and then I basically will schedule it an upload time to be uploaded tomorrow morning. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and as I said before, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of these 3 games, and make sure you leave your prediction down below in the comments of your prediction for all 3 of these games. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.